There we go.
Cool.
Okay, so this week is pretty simple. It's CSS3 transitions and animations, triggering them with JavaScript, which is pretty easy. I don't know. Okay, so there are several different CSS3 transition properties or commands to be aware of. So you've got your transition property, which is going to be like the name of the property which the transition will apply to. So you can apply it to more than one property at a time. The duration is the amount of time, sorry for the typo, it's going to take for the transition to complete. So it can be a transition one time for the whole thing, or it can be broken down into different speeds for different properties. I'll show you an example of that. And then the timing function determines how it's going to progress from start to finish, and then transition delay. So if you had a transition you wanted to start once the screen loaded, but you didn't want it to start for the first 30 seconds, you could put in a delay. So I triggered my transitions using JavaScript by adding classes, which is what we did last week, right? We talked about how to add classes, and there's a bunch of different ways that you can do it. And normally I'm not sure that we'd really want to trigger CSS3 with JavaScript. There's better ways in the animations and stuff, but so here's kind of an example that I put together here. So this is my heading 2 with the example text. You know, the color starts green, the font size is 30 pixels, and then here's what my transition is going to be. So when I add the color property, it's going to add that second transition. So the transition item that I'm changing is the color. It's going to take 5 seconds. And then I'm also going to change the font size, and we're going to do that over 5 seconds. So you can see here, if I do that, it gets bigger and changes color to magenta.
Ooh, cool.
Okay. So then when we get into animations, animations are better to use if you want the transition to repeat over and over again. And there's a lot more complicated things that you can do with animations, but the nicest part about animations is that you can use these keyframes. And so here in the keyframes, there's 2 different styles to do that. So in this first keyframe for text, we have from, which states what our starting properties are, and then to, which shows what our ending properties will be. And then here's the change in the class. So this animation saves its name here. The @ keyframe saves it as my text animation. So down here, my animation name is text. And then similar to the transitions, my animation duration is going to be 5 seconds, but I'm going to loop it through 3 times. Okay, so that's this animation text. So you can see my text change. It's going to change colors and move down on the page. And so that's going to go through 3 times before it resorts back. So for my second example, I decided that we would play here with this little cat. So I wrote a keyframe for move. So down here, when I animate my image, I'm using the animation name move. And I broke this into several sections. So I'm going to move my margin left and slowly change my background transparency. And you can see it's broken into 25%, 50%, 75%, 100% of the animation. I also set it up to go 5 seconds, and the animation iteration is going to be infinite. So that means it's going to loop through until we leave the page. And then with my animation direction, I decided to add an alternate direction. So you can do, if you want to change the direction, you can do reverse or you can do alternate. So it's going to go forward and backward, just like this. See, there we go. So here's our move cat. So the function, I'll get into the what the JavaScript looks like here in just a second. So the move cat, see, it's just, he moves and then he pauses as he hits each of those percentages.
Cool.
You see how that kind of works?
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's pretty basic, but it's my examples, I wanted them to be very easy to see what was going on. So if I click, because this animation is assigned by class, if I click my move cat, it's going to toggle that class off and it's going to stop my animation.
That's cool.
So, any questions? Want to
Nope.
see the
Oh, it
script?
looks good.
Great.
That is cool. I
Yeah.
like that.
Thanks. So next week I will have our next lesson, which is JavaScript event or HTML events and including mobile. So I haven't found a good way to test my mobile ones yet. So I'm just going to have to publish them all online and then test them on my phone. I know there's emulators, but I'm not sure if they'll run them.
There's an easy way. You can with the developer console, if you use Google Chrome, there's like you can make it look like what's it called? A phone.
Will that run touch, like on touch commands?
I thought it simulated touch because it turned here. Let me check.
It turns to a circle, doesn't it?
Yeah. So if you click where it says online to the left. Oh wait. So go click what you just did again.
Yeah. So this is my.
Pass your mouse. Pass your mouse over it.
If you click online on the top, it should have different model phones, and then it's
your mobile.
If you
see the, I don't need to see the elements, right?
Yeah. So click the blue arrow thing to make it stop highlighting, and it should turn into like a touch. Yeah. See?
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Well, then I can go through and test that and make sure my code works, and then I'll share it with you guys next week.
Sounds cool.
So, is that okay? We'll do lesson 9 and 10 next week, or
do
you want me to split them in separate? Because we're a week ahead, right?
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's all the same. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever is good.
I've actually got my lot ready for 11 through to 13. So if you want to take a little bit of time now, I can show you 11.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So it won't take long. It's so simple. It's not even funny. It's probably very similar to what you've shared here. So that's the beauty of it. We can get them sort of at the same time. Shall I try sharing my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going to application window. I'll pick up CIT1261. Let's go to all right. Now, am I sharing? I'm not. Am I?
I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
Okay. I'll try this way. I can't see my application window. Oh, I know how to do this. I'm a bit slow, guys. I'm going to have to create another window for my... Create another window for this. Okay, yeah, this is better. Press and go. Okay, maybe I'll do one part of it. This transition here. Okay, so I get back to here. Sorry, wrong one. Get back into here. I'll share my screen here. Share that. Can you guys see that already?
Yeah.
Okay, so I put a couple of examples in here, transition 1 and transition 2. They're going to be really purely CSS transitions and without any custom libraries. And so the one I'm going to pick on tonight is this transition. This is how simple it is. So I'm just going to do an on hover. See, this is the CSS, and it'll do a translate. Translate will just move that from 0 to 300 pixels, and the transition will take 10 seconds to do it. You've got multiple, you've got ease in, you've got, what else? Ease in, out, ease, or linear. So let's see what that does, you see. So I'm using an on hover, and that's what the ease does. It starts off at a pretty decent pace, and then it eases into it slows down at the end quite significantly. So all I've done is drawn a square, and it's just using a hover to trigger it. So it's all CSS. The width is 200 pixels, height of the box is 200 pixels, background color is that, and I just put some dashed black. But there's the transition there. It's just without anything other than that to trigger it. Guys, got any questions about that beast? There's nothing in it.
Nope.
No, it seems pretty simple.
Yeah. The other one I did was this one here is I created a couple of boxes here. Box I've used it a couple of times already, so created 2 boxes. Started off with a width of 100 and a height of 100, then transitioned it to a 50 by 50. Also changed the color and the background color and the font size. So in this one here, there are 3 elements that go through a transition: the box size, the text size, and there's a transitional color from purple to blue. So I've triggered it from a function, but the transitions are purely CSS. So it's set to run 2.5 seconds, takes a short period to actually start it. So here's my function to start it. I set an interval of 2.5 seconds, that's 2,500 milliseconds. Then it ran this transition, and it changed the div boxes from box 1 to from box to box 2. So at some stage during the animation, you're going to end up with one box changing to another box. And this doesn't even have any infinite running, but it does run infinitely. So let's try it, eh? Let's see what happens here. So you see the text shrinking and growing. You see the box shrink and grow in size, and you also see a transition from magenta to blue.
Cool.
Yeah. And I think I can add one. I can add this transform rotate in there, and I can get it to rotate as part of a transform. So that's topic 11.
Very cool.
Great.
Yeah, so
Yeah, this transition.
I know this one here is a little bit more complex than I would have liked it to have been, but I had fun with it. That's all. Yeah, but I do like this. This is cool. I like that because it's this very little coding, and then I do like the least amount of coding, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's me. Hey guys, thanks for that.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let me see
I'll
where
be
you
good for
are.
next week. We're same time.
Okay.
That
Same
is-
time next week.
Same time next week, guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
See you.
We'll see you later.
All right.
All
Thank
right,
you.
later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.